Yo, it's Dave. Yes, I left Cali behind. The Dave Not and Cali Show, one of a kind. Sundays, 5 p.m. Central. Truth you can. That's for more real people, real talk. Tune in, we'll explore.
Hey, yes, what a week. Well, I changed the time again. Of course, that's confusing everybody out there, but the later time just didn't seem to work too well. And oh, and by the way, William is out having a baby. He may show up, he may not. But he had a little boy, of course. We knew it was going to be a boy, and so I think he's a little bit occupied right now. So anyway, and I don't have any updates on John because I haven't been able to get a hold of him. So hopefully he'll get my message. Hopefully everything is okay because I haven't heard from him. But anyway, boy, what do you guys think about this thing in Iran and the stuff that we're the things that we're seeing? I just noticed that we had a little bit of a protest down in LA, California. Maybe, I'd say 50, 75-ish people showed up. And then, of course, down the street, there was a bunch of Iranian people out there celebrating what had just happened. And so it's kind of a confusing time. Are we happy that they got liberated? Or are we upset that we might have overstepped our position? But I don't think so. I think that the U.S. government has made an agreement with Israel, and we're basically holding up our end. And the fact that there's these countries that the people are so repressed and to the point where when their government gets knocked out, that they all run out in the street and start celebrating. Hey, there we go. Let me let Shannon in here. Here's Shannon Fox. Hey, devoted patriot, how you doing? You hear me okay?
Like the new sign. How you? Oh yeah, sounds good. Like the new sign, Dave. That's nice.
All right. Oh yeah, back there. So anyway, we're just kind of talking about
Dave, Not in Cali.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about all the latest stuff that's been happening in Iran and how there's people celebrating in the streets, and yet the military is still targeting in full blast war. So it's like their country has a big division in it too. You have those that are hell bent on getting rid of all the Jews and hate America and so forth. And Andrew's saying, "Hey, why don't you come on in, Andrew?" Hey, Nancy Dunk's here. Hey, how you doing, Nancy? So anyway, what's your take there, Shannon? I mean, have you been keeping up on it?
I've been watching the war as it progresses day by day. If you want to call it a war, I call it a smackdown of the war. I did notice that there's a bridge on Valley Mills here in town where there's a walking bridge where people can walk over.
Right.
And there was I'd say about 10 people up there on the bridge with banners, F Trump and Trump is a war criminal and a couple things like that. So we've obviously got about 10 people here in Waco that don't like Trump. We got 10 Democrats here in Waco for sure, at least.
Yeah.
But I noticed that today, and I thought it's not something worth protesting over. Trump is trying to get rid of terrorist cells that are affecting the entire world's safety. These people are idiots, just my opinion. But I don't agree with war. Never. I think it's always a last resort choice.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to figure out, is it time? If it is time, is it necessary to go to these extremes? I'm sure Trump has weighed all this out since the get-go, threatening Iran for months now, and they lie, cheat, and steal, and they don't listen to us, and they kind of blow smoke up our butts, basically. And then we wait for for them to respond or do their part, and nothing happens. They're too used to us sending them pallets. They're so used to sending us sending them pallets of cash. They have no respect for us. And so whether they need to be bombed or not, I can't say. I didn't read the war plans, but I can say that the world will be a better place if we got one of the major financiers of international terrorism gone. I mean, that alone is a huge win for the entire planet. If you can snuff out one of the financiers of all this international terrorism that happens in every country, then Trump has really done a great thing.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. It's just really strange to see all the different opinions out there, and how I don't know, some lack the understanding of why all this is going on, and somehow just blame it all on Trump himself. I know Trump is allowing it, but he gets the news too. Once he says, okay, we can do this, and that, but he doesn't take care of all that planning and so forth. He just kind of gives them a direction to go, and
Right.
they make those decisions. And I mean, you can tell it in his tweets. He goes, "Oh, I was just notified moments ago." So obviously, the president's going to hear about it before we do, of course. But it's not like he's on the phone the whole time while it's all happening. Not like in the movies. What Nancy
I did see that.
Wonderful to see
Good to
John
see.
in the picture and William. Oh, that's probably in the intro. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Nancy.
I did see.
Let me say something to Nancy. Nancy, in case you didn't know, William's off having a baby. He may or may not show up. Just so you know, he had a little baby boy, and of course, John. I don't know. I sent him a message. Sometimes this happens. Last time he was in the hospital, so that's why we didn't. So, anyway, go ahead, Shannon.
I did notice that most people in this country are really down on the DOJ and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and the lack of actual execution of the plan. I mean, investigating is great, right? And hearing details is great. The Epstein files exposing these creeps is great. But when nobody goes to jail for any of this, we start questioning the whole party, the whole situation, even Trump. And Trump has caught a lot of flack, I believe, along the way for being inconsistent with certain things like prosecution. I'm glad to see Trump is a commander in chief that is willing to go arrest Maduro in his own country, and him and his wife are willing to go drop a bomb on Iran's nuclear facilities and then drop a bomb on their boss's head because he still wouldn't listen. I'm okay with that, because these are the things that's going to change the world. We're going to slow down the drug trafficking. We're going to slow down the terrorism. These are major issues that the entire world suffers through. Nobody wants fentanyl in their country as a whole. Nobody wants to worry about going to the airport because they're afraid they're going to get blowed up on the plane they're crawling on. Those are just simple. Security is such a basic necessity, and for the most part, the world never thinks twice about it because we're busy with our little lives in our own little world. We don't think about what's going on outside of our little box. The truth be known, security of the nation, security of the country, security of every country's citizens is a must. You can't prosper and procreate as a nation or as a whole world or as a nation unless you have peace and security. That's the backbone. That's the backbone for democracy and being able to thrive and grow a society. It starts with security. It really does. If it's the streets are unsafe and you've got a faction running the show like the cartels run Mexico, no matter what, everything is thrown off because the security factor is missing. you're not safe living in places like Mexico, Venezuela, places like that, because
Yeah.
of the cartels run the show. And so when you take out cartel leaders and leaders of a place like Venezuela, he was a cartel leader as far as I'm concerned, Maduro, and terrorist leaders, people that finance terrorism in several countries. When you take those people out of the picture, they're gone. There's going to be a vacuum, and somebody's going to fill that void. But
Yeah.
it's never going to
Well,
be like it was. And I think security is a reason to go to war. If there's any reason to go bomb somebody, go drop a bomb on somebody's head, it's to stop the fentanyl, to stop the terrorism. I'm okay with that, because those are killers by themselves, both of them.
Well, it's funny that the left started getting upset at Trump, calling him out for not going after Maduro in his first term. Remember, it was like, well, what happened? You were going to do this and that, and then a complete 180-degree turn. He goes and does it, and now they're bad mouthing him, saying that he doesn't have the jurisdiction to do this, and it's like, so I look at the stuff that's going on in our government, and half of it's all for show, and it means to me that those people really don't believe what they think they believe or what they're saying they believe, because if they can turn it just because of the person, in office at that moment, they turn their belief systems around backwards just because of one person, then they really truly didn't believe it to start with.
Right.
There's many of them that came out and talked about getting some kind of voter ID or some reassurance to bolster the voter system. And then as soon as Trump wants to do it, it's, oh, no, that's racist. Voter ID is racist. I just don't understand how they can, in their mind, justify that way of thinking when they do know that everywhere they go, ID is required no matter what you do.
I don't think it's, me personally, I don't think it's they really believe that somebody's being disenfranchised. I don't believe they really believe that. Maybe a few of them do, because they're just that weak-minded behind it. But I think they're already on Team Democrat. The only way they're ever going to revive their party to win elections again is to continue with the same rule book, the only one they know: lie, cheat, steal, and deny. Put up with the crap, put up with the push for the trans, and put up with all the stuff that comes along with the Democrat Party's baggage, and pretend. That's what they're doing. Pretend like voter ID is something about civil liberties and options to vote and voter suppression. No. All these things are designed to benefit the Democrat Party, just like open borders and no voter ID. All these things are designed to benefit the Democrats. And most of these Democrats know this at this point. They think voter ID is a good idea unless they're the type Democrat that wants to win by any means necessary. And so that's what we got now. We have a progressive wing of the Democrat Party, probably a third or more of the party, that doesn't mind lying, cheating, and stealing whatever it takes to get their party over the finish line, because they're dead set on being a Democrat. They're in it to win it, even though it's bad policy, it's manipulation of direction, it's everything that you wouldn't want to be standing up. You wouldn't want to be a part of an organization that stands for these type of things in a normal situation if you have any moral fortitude.
Yeah.
But these people have left their moral fortitude at the drive-through window. They've just left it behind. They've headlong into the party, and now they're willing to look at the Somali fraud.
Yeah.
If I was a Democrat living in Minnesota, I would be pissed off, because I know damn well I wouldn't get.
But it's different. It's our party, so we need to back it up somehow and kind of make everybody think, oh, we're kind of okay with what's going on, but without being okay with it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That, to me, that shows that the whole party is just really shallow, and it's all about party, not about America, not about our country. It's just about party, it's like, taking a team sport to its limit. It doesn't matter. The team's got to win.
That's it.
And they don't bring anything to the table at the same time.
Well, I think the Democrats really shot themselves in the foot when Trump set that trap for them the other day at the State of the Union address, where he said, "Everybody that loves this country, stand up."
Oh God!
Everybody loves this country over Democrats or over illegals. That was the best trap he could have ever set on a public stage. I mean, you got all these Democrats over there going like this, and you got Kat Kamek, who's the only Republican sitting on the Democrat side. She's sitting over there just so when it's time to stand up and clap, they pan the camera, and they got to pan it at her too. And what do you see around her? 15 sour Democrats.
I wonder if anybody told the camera people that, okay, when he says this, we want to see all those faces, because it's just kind of funny how all the cameras went over there.
Well, Kat Kamek sat on the Democrat side to do that. That was her. That was her whole mission. She said that in advance. She said, "I'm going to go sit with the Democrats, sit on their side, not because I'm on their team, but so when America knows that all Republicans are standing up, parading and clapping for what Trump says, they're going to have to pan on me too, and they're going to see nothing but sour Democrats sitting around me." And sure enough, it went down just like that. I mean, she helped set the trap, at least with the video coverage. And I think it's great. I think the political commercial that come out, there was a guy on X that had 300 something subscribers, right? 300 something followers, really, really small X channel, right? So he puts this 22-second video together, compilation, puts a little music to it, and it's first 5 seconds is Trump saying, "All right, stand up if you support this country over Americans over illegals." And then the next 15 seconds of the video is these people with their head and their lap and their hands, and it was all the Democrats, just literally a quick compilation of everybody's expression. Ilhan Omar screaming in the background, and it wasn't AI generated or anything. It was just basically clips cut together, spliced together. 20 something seconds long. It went super viral on X for 2 days, and now it is a political campaign ad. I've seen already cranked out by the White House. They've been clipped it, and now they're using it. So the Democrats not standing up the other day really hurt their base. Whether they know it or not, they hurt their base. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to put that in front of your face.
You're good.
I was looking while you were talking. I was kind of looking to see what was anything new popped up here.
The Democrats can't win if they keep shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. And they do. But that's the thing is, sometimes I start thinking there's just no way, because you're thinking of all the, people with common sense and all that. And then when it gets to that time of voting, lots of times I'm just blown away at what the results are. I mean, it's just, if they're real results, every time I voted for somebody in California, I said, well, I really don't want to, cause them not to win, because it's like everybody I voted for never won. All the measures that I voted against never, went through anyway. You know what I'm saying? It was like California was a hard place to be a conservative and live at the same time.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. You got out of there as quick as you could.
Well, I was there for what, 40 some odd years, 45, 50 years, so yep. But I stayed there because there was a lot of work. There's always work there. But then, if you go to retire, there's no reason to stay in California because everything's too damn expensive. You think things are expensive now here. Go back to California. Oh, my goodness. But you know what? Chad, since we're talking about it, Chad Bianco, he basically came out and said if he becomes governor, he's going to get rid of all those fuel taxes. He wants to bring fuel back down to $2 and something a gallon, like the rest of the country. So that's going to be,
I seen
that's
that
kind of
guy.
like carrot over there in front of their face, right?
Is California election so corrupt that a Republican can't win, even if he's the most popular guy in the state?
I know, but he's really building up a lot of momentum.
I was watching him on Maria Bartiromo Sunday, and he was on there, had an interview, and yeah, he sounds great. He sounds like he's got great ideas for the state, and he's definitely calling out the mess for sure.
Oh, Andrew's telling me that I got audio, but I locked up or something. Let's see, I'm on. I'm plugged directly
You
in.
were froze up for a minute. You're not anymore, but on my end, you were froze up for a second.
Yeah. Well, I tried the best. You know, I'm satellite out here, so yep. And 5 o'clock's the peak time when everybody's on. So bandwidth is limited. Yeah. Oh, I'm good. Okay, thank you, Andrew. He says I'm good now. So
Do the freeze frame.
yeah. Well, and then you look a little blurry from my point of view, from my side.
Hopefully not. My camera's good. My camera's good. It looks good on my end.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, back to what we was talking about. I was looking over at Gateway to see if anything popped up. You scan. Of course, X seems like most of all the Democrats are going back to X. Like, what's the matter with their Blue Sky platform? Why don't they just stay over there?
It's an echo chamber.
Yeah, more and more and more are starting to show back up at X. I've noticed.
I've noticed as well. X is the place to find the news. I go over there several times a day just because it's steadily changing all the time.
Yeah. Well, I see that there was a shooting in Texas, and everybody's saying that there's all sorts of concerns that the Iran is activating their terrorist cells over here in the United States.
That's very possible, and it's also the fact that there's people that live in this country that hate this country, that support Iran, that think today that we're doing atrocities by freeing the Iranian people. I'm sure there's a lot of crazies out there that have their own ideology that think that it's beyond TDS. It's TDS with they just attacked my leader Ayatollah Khomeini and killed my boss or whatever.
So see here. Remember, I was saying sometimes Trump just here's a good example in this shot here. He says that I've just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval ships, some of them relatively large and important, Trump said. So he's being notified after the fact on most all this anyway. So, and I just kind of think that's it's kind of showing like he's giving some guidelines and he just let him go. This is what we want to accomplish. Go do it.
Right.
And he says that we're going after the rest. They'll soon be floating at the bottom of the sea. Okay.
I've seen Air Force One left Mar-a-Lago and was heading to Washington, D.C. On X, they were saying that Trump had a war room meeting, emergency war room meeting. That was an hour or so ago on X.
Yeah.
So they're obviously making Plan B plans or next phase of the attack plans.
Right. Well, let's kick on over there and see what's going on. So just the fastest way to change the behavior of a lethal threat is to shoot him. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, I'm just scanning. Oh, here we got something. Let me see what this is. Let me go to, I did find something here. Let me add that back to this see what she's saying here.
Gunfire continuing for more than 40 minutes. Now, Pakistan has also struck Kandahar in the south and Paktika near the border. Islamabad says these are counterstrikes, retaliation for what it describes as unprovoked Afghan attacks on Pakistani military positions. Now, Pakistan's defense minister has gone even further, declaring what he calls open war with the Taliban authorities. Now, this comes despite a ceasefire agreed to just a few months ago in October, and that truce has now effectively collapsed. Pakistan says it's destroyed dozens of Taliban posts and killed more than 100 Taliban fighters. The Taliban rejects that, claiming instead it's captured Pakistani bases and killed scores.
Allahu Akbar. Wala mujahida wala.
An analyst in Afghanistan and immigrating to the U.S. before 9/11, Legend joined the U.S. Army as a linguist and analyst in the intelligence community. Legend made explosive allegations on the Sean Ryan show that were eventually confirmed in Congress. It all came to a head last December.
Of the approximately $8 billion that the international community, including the United States, is dedicated to Afghanistan, about $10 million of that has no doubt gotten to the Taliban.
I don't care if it's that young penny. I don't care if it's a penny.
Since this exposure,
Yeah, so they're that was talking about the money that got diverted, from Tim Walz's area. That was helping.
It was always presidential policy all the way up until Trump showed up. It was always presidential policy, government policy to pay our enemies to leave us alone. We literally have always sent Iran and Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, these terrorist cell supporting countries. We've sent them money to keep them from attacking us. Look what Obama did. Obama sent the Taliban sent the mullahs our tax dollars by the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, even on his way out the door. There's no doubt that there must have been some purpose to sending all that money over there. And their idea was to keep the peace. We're bribing them, basically. It sounds like mob boss tactics. We pay them to keep them from coming and wreaking havoc on our side of the planet. But truth be known, they still, even when they're being bribed by the Obamas and the Biden administration, they were still promoting terrorism in the entire planet. So they're just taking the money and using it for their own needs. So we are the United States for a long time has been a corporate sponsor of international terrorism, whether we like it or not. USAID.
Yeah, and not a lot of people really think of it that way too. Even though we've been told it, I think it goes over the. People just don't grasp. Actually, what all this is happening and how it's happening, and how it's a lot of government officials have turned their back, just looked the other way.
For decades.
Yeah, and I got to say that, and it's not always just one side, because I think it takes a wide spectrum of people to run the government. So you're going to have a wide spectrum of whether you're Republican or Democrat. You're going to get ranges in each party, full extreme to somewhere in the middle, and they don't know whether they're Democrat or Republican. Or maybe they call themselves a libertarian or, a moderate or whatever you want to call yourself, which is okay. I really don't like having two parties. It being boiled down to two parties because what that does is that does create kind of like us against them rather than a majority. Right.
It polarizes a situation.
Yes.
if you had three teams, it'd be different. It'd be a lot different if you actually had three different parties that all held a decent amount of power versus two that are fighting over the crumbs between the two. It would make a huge difference in our ability to want better policies, because you would always have that third one, the independent voter, whatever, they could sway
Yeah.
either party's direction, and that's the way it was designed and originally. But it fell down to the two-party rule since the beginning.
Just got a message from William. He just got the baby home and
Awesome.
helping his wife settle in. So he probably not going to drop in today. I didn't really expect him to.
Well, big congrats to William and the family.
Yeah. William Jr.
William Jr.
It's going to be another William Jr. You
Be a
bet.
Wild Bill, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Well,
I
that's
don't know what
great
it's
to
going to
hear.
be like to have two mechanics in the house, once he starts growing up, because I'm sure he'll have the same attributes as William. That's pretty much how it goes. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep, that's great. That's great news. That's good for the world. Procreation, bringing more
Well,
babies into this world.
we need that in the United States. You know that, right?
Yes,
We've
absolutely.
fallen below that 2 point whatever it is, which sometimes I think that's why maybe there's those in the government pushing for more people to come into the United States. But at the same time, when you do that, you're diluting what the people in the United States that come to the United States and want to be part of the United States have a certain belief of becoming part of the United States, not coming in and trying to change the United States.
Right.
I mean, there are people that come in specifically to infiltrate, grow their people, and kind of slowly take over, the area, even get into government positions like you're seeing every day, more and more. So it's not like the old days when he finally got his certificate. Hey, I'm an American now! Yay! They were excited to be an American.
It went from immigration to infiltration.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And when they stopped vetting people at the border for 4+ years, they really put our country in a position to have sleeper cell Iranian terrorists living down the street from you at this point. That's just a fact. I hate to say that, but anytime there's any kind of conflict around the world, one of my first thoughts is I hope it doesn't hit us here at the house, here at home, here in America. But with the open borders and the non-vetting process of just letting everybody and their sister come in, marry their brother, get in, whatever. Those type things is what is the ruination of a nation. Without borders, you don't have a country.
Without a doubt.
Without a simulation, your country becomes a bunch of broken pieces of other nations.
Yep. Well, maybe we should. You have to eat a piece of bacon when you come into the country on camera. That was terrible, right?
I have nothing against bacon. I'm good with bacon.
What is Andrew asking?
What do I think about UN?
UN.
I think it's a charade. I think it's a way to get several countries, mostly the United States, to pour money into a bucket, so the world, United Nations, NATO can play army and do their little smoke and mirrors game. I think it's like the World Health Organization. I think it's mostly a scam. It's probably the biggest NGO in the world, to be honest with you. NATO is all about funneling money in to protect other nations. In reality, everybody should be paying their own way, like Trump said in the beginning. Everybody's got to pay their share to the defense of your own nation. It's nobody else's job to police your country and be militarized for your country to make sure y'all survive. You should be able to do your own part. But if you're all part of Team NATO,
Yeah.
You have a better standing of security. I get the whole the premise is great. It's a protection racket. The premise is great, but NATO sucks and UN sucks as far as I'm concerned because they've abused the situation. I mean, Trump had to come in there and demand 20 countries to pay their way right from the get go. Why was that not being done from the start? Why was it not being done in the beginning? It's
Exactly. Why? Because
it's a financial
weak
racket.
leadership.
It's a financial racket more than anything, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I just think it was from weak leadership to start with. They allowed them year after year and they didn't do anything about it. So by somebody actually standing up and saying, hey, wait a minute. It's like you're going out that store. You didn't pay for that. Come here. You need to pay for that. Otherwise, you can't have it. And to me, that's just absolutely fair. That's accountability. You know, the other countries need to have accountability. If we didn't hold up our end, none of this stuff would exist.
Exactly.
Because bulk of the money and financing is coming from us. And that's what he's telling you. You know, we don't need to be in part of this. If you guys aren't going to hold up your end, then we're out of here. That's the way it should be. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, think about it if it was some kind of local thing that we were involved with. You get together with a couple organizations and we all decide that we're going to pay our fair share. Now, with the country, it's proportionate to their size and volume and so forth. Well, you could do the same thing here in the States, but the minute somebody's not paying their way, what happens? They're out of here. Nobody thinks anything doesn't think twice about it. We apply that same thought process to the UN and NATO. I mean, I understand how it started out and it was a good thing, but it's just morphed into something that's just not what it was intended to be.
This entitlement mentality is turned into a greedy vacuum to where somebody's paying the bill and somebody's sitting back not doing their part to pay their own bills because somebody else will take care of it for them. I'm glad that Trump was willing to say F the Paris Climate Accords, F NATO, F everybody not paying their own fair share. I'm glad Trump has got the cojones to stand up and say this ain't right. I don't care who it pisses off. I don't agree to those terms. I love that about Trump. He doesn't care who he's dealing with. There's nobody on this planet that Trump is afraid to say, F you, I don't agree. Let's do it my way. And we need that as in our presidents. We need that in a commander-in-chief. We need somebody that is willing to round up people for stealing elections and bomb other world leaders because they fund terrorism and go kidnap, or however you want to term it, the biggest drug dealer in the world to keep him out of our hemisphere because he was doing direct damage to our nation.
I hope I don't get any enemies over this, but I also feel inside it really isn't our job to go police another country. But when there's a call out that the people are being really taken advantage of and repressed and so forth, plus the fact that they pose a threat to other countries, it's kind of like that's where it crosses the line, and I think that's where we're at on this. I think if the country was doing its best for its people and so forth, its goals wouldn't be to kill their neighbor. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the way where they're at. And then if any of their people speak out against it, they get thrown in jail. Hey, it's a death sentence over there if you go against your government.
Yeah. Look how many people were murdered in the last month behind the protest. They said 30-something thousand people have been murdered in the streets.
Yeah.
Behind speaking out against your government.
So they're really risking their lives to get out there and protest or even celebrate.
Did you see that there was an X video out earlier where Trump was speaking to the Iranian people? Like, you remember the 6-minute speech he did 2 days ago about we're dropping bombs on them. This is the casualty rate. This is how many planes. This is how many installations we booked. Remember, he did about I guess it was yesterday. He did like a 6-minute press conference about it. Well, they put a clip of that press conference on Iranian television. So we have hacked into Iranian television.
Oh, really?
And Trump is speaking in American, but it's got it at the bottom of the screen in.
You mean in English? Yeah, he's speaking English and they're
speaking English and Iranian language at the bottom. And he's saying, now is your time. Remember when he said, now is your time to stand up and rise up against your corrupt government? That was played across all Iranian television earlier today. I'm assuming our State Department had something to do with that. You know, they don't have much internet going on over there with the bombing going on, but they still have local television, which is being hijacked by White House commercials at this point.
So are they going to fly drones in there and drop down Starlink packages?
I wonder. I'm surprised Elon Musk isn't offered Starlink to the revolutionaries that want to take out.
Right. Oh, who knows? Yeah, Andrew's asking about the SAVE Act, the Voter SAVE Act. What will happen?
Well, it sounds like they're trying to get rid of John Thune. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
There is big opposition to John Thune. If 85% of the country wants something and the leader of the Senate doesn't care, he's the wrong guy for the job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think we were talking about that earlier. Well, you know, I have so many conversations with people that sometimes I forget whether I talked about it here or I talked about it out on the street. So, oh, and by the way, that bridge that you were talking about where the protesters go, I really do want to bring the camera down and maybe go see if we can interview some of those people. You know, see if they'll.
You know where the HEB. You know where the HEB Plus is on Valley Mills, the big HEB.
Right, they got the big concrete little bridge thing going over.
Yes, that's where they were at.
Yeah. Well, and then I saw this week, it was kind of neat. There was, I think I put it on one of my shorts or something, but they were going around the day before the State of the Union. The gal was going around on campus saying from 1 to 10, what do you think President Trump in the State of the Union address? And all these people were jumping on, oh, I give it a 2, I give it a 1, oh, I give it a negative. And then just say, why is that? Oh, because he's, some kind of reason and so forth. But yet it wasn't supposed to happen until the next day. So that kind of tells you where all these college students are.
They hated it in advance.
Hated him in advance, right. They hated him. And the thing is, what I would want to see in something like that is inform them that, oh, it's not till tomorrow, and get their reaction on film, so that you could show later.
How stupid they were. How uninformed they really are.
No, after they go through their spiel, one gal come up and says, I thought it was going to be tomorrow. And so she was the big winner of the day, She was the only one out of 5 or 6, students that actually would stop and talk. A lot of students won't even, they see somebody with a microphone, they just keep walking. Some people, they're open to it. Anyway.
Yeah, let's set up an interview. Let's go deal with these guys.
Yeah. Andrew says he heard it got stalled in the Senate. Okay, that's the Save America Act.
So we can't get 50 Republicans behind it, is what that means. Mitch McConnell, Trump made a video earlier, or reposted a video earlier of Mitch McConnell being, it was a Chris Farley scene from a movie. Pretty comical. It was about Mitch McConnell being incapacitated. They're still fighting the fact that he's supposed to be voting for something the American people want. You have to go check it out. It's over on X. It's there's several great memes out today involving Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell and John Thune are both catching a lot of heat right now because they both come out and publicly said they do not support the Save America Act.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Let's
sad.
see what, looking on here to see if I can see anything the latest.
Yeah, it's pretty sad when you have Republicans that know that 85% of the entire country wants something, and they're like, "No, it doesn't benefit me." It tells a story.
That passed in the House. The earlier version, yep. There's around 50 Republicans that vote black. There's 60 needed. Okay, so you need 60 to overcome, but they've managed to get 50.
If we had 50 on board to vote for it, they could start the talking filibuster. But at this point, we don't know that we got a solid 51 for the talking filibuster.
Yeah. So as of today, it's stalled in the Senate with no immediate passage in sight due to procedural partisans divides. Whatever that means, but just that word divides. For absolute latest floor status, check congress.gov and the bill number and related bills or recent Senate schedules. That's it. Yep. So it definitely is stalled. So, yeah.
Now Monday on my channel, I'm going to be doing a go through of who, if you're a Texan and you want to know who to vote for, if you're not sure about some of the down ballot races. I've got a flyer. I've went through it. I've kind of do my own choice of vetting process. You vote for who you want to.
Why don't you share a little bit?
But I'm at least going to give everybody suggestions as to the right direction. Because some of these people you probably never heard of, but they're the right person for the job. Every county's got different elections as far as district races.
Right.
But so I can't cover them all. But all the main races, the attorney general, lieutenant governor, those type of races, the Senate races. Do you choose Chip Roy? Yeah, the main ones.
District stuff you can't. Yeah,
exactly. So what do you think? Wesley Hunt, Chip Roy? Who do you think would be a good attorney general since Paxton's out?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth.
Well, Paxton was the best attorney general in the entire country. Second, I would say, is Andrew Bailey of Missouri. Right? These are two of the badasses Republican attorney generals. Two of the best I've seen ever. And now that Paxton's not going to be our attorney general anymore, I'm assuming Chip Roy will probably get the position. Hopefully, he'll be able to fight like Paxton did. You know, Paxton saved Texas elections not once, not twice, but 40 cases. He fought the Biden administration to keep Zuckerberg money and drop boxes and all this scandalous crap that goes on with ballot harvesting. He fought to keep that stuff out of our state. That's why Texas is still red. That is the only reason. Because they tried like hell to beat us out in 2020. They really did. And Paxton was there like a duck on a June bug, stopping it, suing like crazy. He sued the Biden administration. I don't even know how many times throughout the administration, but I know about 40 times just behind the election bullshit.
Yeah. Well, that's why I would even favor him to that point. But to be honest, there's just something. I still, and I'm running out of time to decide too. So, but yeah, you would have to ask that particular thing.
Paxton's a bulldog. He's a fighter.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. And I remember
and he's had a lot of, he's like Trump had a lot of shade thrown at him. He had Speaker Dave Felon try to have him impeached and everything else. The rhinos in Texas here in the Senate and the House in Texas tried to get rid of Ken Paxton, and they couldn't do it because they didn't have any evidence to prove he had done anything wrong. But they basically treated him like they treat Trump, like he's a criminal
Right,
before
right, yeah.
they have any charges. And just on that fact alone, that Ken Paxton has given the double barrel middle finger every time. No matter what job he does next, he'll be great at it. I would prefer him. I mean, I like him working here in Texas. It'd be great for him to be a senator here in Texas, but I think Ken Paxton would be a better Washington, D.C. Attorney General. Maybe take Pam Bondi's job, because I think he would actually do
Yeah,
it.
well, there you go. There you go.
He would actually
Yeah.
do the job.
Yeah, that was a big letdown. Yeah.
Well, Trump's not going to
Andrew-
put up with that forever. You know, Trump is a very decisive person. When he wants shit done, he wants shit done. He's not going to F around with you, but for so long, and he's going to give you an ultimatum, and then you're either going to get fired, get bombed, or something. It's going to be ugly from that point forward. And we see how Trump deals with people on a tactical level. He's a crude businessman, and eventually he's going to get tired of Pam Bondi. She's done a lot of great things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when midterms have happened and not a single politician has went to jail, Trump's going to blame Pam Bondi.
Probably. Yeah.
I think
There's a
that's what it's
weird
gonna,
relationship going on in there too, because I guess when she got promised that position and he followed through. So, but what is Andrew's saying? So I thought they sued California for that 5-seat change over there. Thought they were
Well,
suing them.
just like Texas, Supreme Court ruled for Texas and said you're allowed to redistrict. They told California the same thing. You're allowed to do the same.
Yeah.
And so we picked up 5 seats in Texas. California picked up 5 seats. So,
But see, I think the ones that we got in Texas were pretty much by and large done fairly. But I know in California, they really manipulated it to make it
oh yeah,
come out that way.
they butcher them redistricting lines
Yeah.
where you have to live within a certain slot to be voted for in this area. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. When your gerrymandering redistrict looks like a snake running through the state, that is not the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah. Oh, Big Shannon, yeah, I guess it.
Big Shannon. No,
Andrew sometimes comes on with different, what is that? That little logo, it just says A, and then sometimes he has a little symbol. I guess he's got 2 different channels out there. So, yeah. So anyway, how's your channel going? What's going on? I know you do your live, the food program that you've been doing, but you changed the day on that, right? You're doing it during the week?
I found out that Friday is one of the only days of the week that these people receive no proceeds from anybody. Carrot Top and the food banks, they're open on Wednesdays. But most of these homeless people have to have an address in order to get food that way, and they want to give stuff that needs to be cooked. So the pantries really don't benefit the homeless, right? They benefit people in housing. So there's that gap there to where how do the homeless people get fed? Well, there's the church people. There's people like me. There's groups that come from out of town churches like Cranfield's Gap. Some people came in from Cranfield's Gap the other day, but there's several locations around Waco where there's homeless people, almost whether it be encampments or places where they congregate, because they know to be here on Sunday because this church feeds at this particular spot at this particular time. Well, almost every day of the week, somebody is out there trying to feed these hundreds of people, whether it be 20, 50, whatever, several meals. And so it's getting taken care of on a pretty regular level. And I had my choice at this point because of my schedule change to decide when I want to do this, whether I want to do it on Thursday night or Saturday morning, just whatever I decide. And I've realized that everybody I've talked to has said Friday is the day everybody's too busy.
That's the day that they kind of go without because nobody's out there on Fridays. Well, that's good. You were able to fill a slot. Because you definitely don't want to be coming in behind somebody or ahead of somebody.
Well, I've done that on Sundays. I've come in on
Yeah,
Sundays and there's 70 people that just got fed, and I'm like, I've got 30 bags of food. I
And
want to go find 30 different people versus double them up because I don't want them to waste the food.
And it also seems like your route is getting faster now because you know right where to go. And
Oh, yeah.
who's going to be there and everything. So I remember in the beginning, you know, it took you a while. And you, well, I'm going to go over here and see. And you know, now you just like, you know, each spot. That's pretty good. It's working out really good for you. What's Nancy saying? Shannon's charity work. Oh, yep. I think I saw her commenting on one of your videos down there. So when you were doing it.
Yeah, I try to do it a week. I try to do it every week, at least once a week. I try to get out there on Friday afternoons between noon and 4 or 5 o'clock and try to put together 20 to 30 blessing bags on an average week. And I buy bananas and bottled water and bananas or packaged crackers, like some peanut butter crackers and things like that.
Yeah.
Because you can buy that stuff. You can buy like 30 or 40 packs of crackers for $10. And so I'll buy stuff like that because I know if you had nothing to eat today, if you have a banana, some bottled water, and some crackers and a meal that I'm going to provide.
Well, and are you still getting the, you're getting donations still, right? To help you?
Yeah. I have a restaurant every Friday that I get kolaches, biscuits, burritos, everything from the week that they did not sell that stayed under refrigeration the entire time instead of throwing it out. I end up with it.
So you get access.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for another source for food. I'm trying to figure out where my next restaurant is, my next collection site, because I was even thinking about going to the food banks and saying, hey, look, I don't need a bunch of canned goods and rice for these homeless people because they're not going to eat them like that. Can I come here once every week or two and pick up the fruit or the things that I know that are instantly edible?
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to look Shannon up, it's Devoted Patriots 2, and that's the number 2 or the 2 TOO?
TOO, like always.
TOO, that's what I thought. And you can look him up and subscribe to him and check him out. He does his food program live right from his truck as he's going down the road, which I'm really surprised it comes in really good. So you must have really good signal down in the area where you're working. So anyway, I want to thank Andrew, a big thanks to Andrew out there and Nancy Dunks for checking in. And there's 5 or 6 other people there, but it ended up being a pretty good show since I didn't have other people. And Shannon was gracious enough to just jump in the last minute. You know, we covered everything from the Iran war to voter ID, you name it. We covered everything today, so it was pretty good, and I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and hey, we'll see you next week. All righty, bye-bye.